you hear? Today is the 17th. No, it just says waiting for. I'm waiting for Kim's meditation.
All right. Well, it should be up and live.
There we go.
Okay. Maybe now. Who knows? This is always, you know,
That's electronics.
Okay, yeah, I see live, but then no sound.
no sound. Okay. So we have to check.
Okay, it's live and I can hear you.
Okay,
Now-
good.
now I
All
can
right.
hear.
Okay. So we were just going over. You can turn it off.
Yeah.
We were just going over things that come up in our life and what they are. People come and we get to talking, and then we go live, and I got to catch everybody up that's out there on what we were talking about, because it's important. What we were talking about here is very important. So sometimes we get caught up in life and we forget to take care of ourselves happily. And we were talking about how sometimes someone will come into our life, and it could be from your past, or it could be from now, or it could be, someone that's just showing up. But a lot of times it's a test. It's like testing you to make sure you're in balance. You're in the balance. You're in Ubeka. So if you're not, your ego takes over, and then you start to suffer. But there's a way not to suffer in that. So the way not to suffer is to have mindfulness, to see things for what they actually are, full and clear comprehension and mindfulness. So the first thing is mindfulness. You have to be aware of what you're thinking and what you're speaking. This is very, very important. If you just let your mind go crazy, you just let it wander, and then you attach to something that has happened, then you begin to suffer. And then you tell yourself more of this stuff, and then you begin to suffer more, and it just keeps going. But if you look at it, if you have a mindfulness, if you know, okay, oh, this is something that I could either, and you can talk to yourself and say to, okay, this is something that I could either take in, attach to, and suffer, or this is something I can learn from. It's teaching me something. What am I going to learn? If you do the second option, you're much better off. You don't have this suffering. You don't have this, but if you attach to it, this is your ego. And your ego can get out of hand very quickly and create suffering inside of you very, very, very quickly. And so when you actually let it go, okay, this isn't about me. This is them. This is that person. This is that. It's not me. Because anything, and I've said this before, anything outside of you is not you. It's happening outside of you. So you can either bring it in and attach to it and make it yours and suffer, or you can say inside yourself, you don't have to say it out loud and, get people upset. You can just say in your mind, this is not me. This is them. They are in this. I am not. And then bring yourself back into balance. Take a breath, relax, know what you're thinking. It's very important. This is sati. This is mindfulness. Know what you are thinking. Know what you're telling yourself. See, a lot of times we go through life and we don't know what we're saying. It sounds funny, but it's true. We'll say things like, oh, I'm so stupid. What are you telling yourself? You hear what you're saying? This is planting a seed inside of you. This is telling yourself that you're not good enough. This is what you're saying inside of yourself. Now, you can go back and say, oh, that's not right. I'm loving kindness. See? And you can feel good about that. But be careful, because we're constantly saying things that we're not aware we're saying. That's what mindfulness means. We do it all the time. We do these, we're driving down the road, miss a road. Oh, I'm so stupid. What am I thinking? Right? What are you thinking talking to yourself like that? No. Tell yourself, I'm loving kindness inside. Correct it, because you don't want that seed to sit in there and grow and create something that you don't need inside of you. Because when you do this, you begin to have full and clear comprehension of what will happen, the reaction to the action, right? Mm-hmm. You begin to understand that. You begin to see it. And this is where things change in your life, and you will have balance. People have asked me, oh, how long did it take you to get enlightened? My entire life. Yeah, I mean, really. Now, how long did it take me to understand these teachings and to be able to balance myself? Well, I've been working on it about a couple of years now. It's a daily thing. People think enlightenment is just a crashing, lightning bolt. Oh, I'm enlightened now. Nothing ever is going to happen. That's not truth. Truth is, enlightenment is peace, loving kindness inside your heart. This is enlightenment. When you have loving kindness in your heart and you have this peaceful balance, ubbeka, balance. See? This is enlightenment, where you do not let the things outside of you affect you. You don't bring them in and marinate them and let them build your ego up and, so that you can fall. This is not enlightenment. Enlightenment is balance. Enlightenment is peace and loving kindness. This is what it is. I tell you, I know it's truth. I don't suffer anymore. There may be a moment in time where there's something that happens, if my father fell, okay, and I could see it happening before it happened. Like, I knew that was going to happen, and I got up. I happened to be in the bathroom, and I got up and I went out and I said, Dad fell. Yeah, he did. And for an instant, when I was seeing it in my mind's eye, I was like, oh. But then I knew it was okay. Whatever it was going to happen, I mean, he's 87 years old. It could have really, took its toll. But he was fine. He bumped his elbow, had a little, hurt his back a little bit. But by the next morning, he was fine. So, in this balance, you don't get, crazy over things, because what is. You know it. What is. He fell. That happened. I cannot change it, right? I couldn't change him falling. It already happened. What can I do? Help him up, right? I didn't help him up. My brother helped him up, but, bring him inside, clean him up. That's all you can do. Attaching to his fall and being upset about him falling would only create suffering inside of me. And it certainly wouldn't help him. What would it do? Nothing. So as you grow, you'll begin to realize that things outside of you are outside of you. You cannot change what happens outside of you, because there's free will. Free will. If I could change what happened outside of me, everybody would be enlightened. Because that's what I want for everyone. I would love for everybody. Picture the world with everybody in loving kindness and peace. That'd be a great place to live. It's beautiful. But I can't do it for people. people have to do it for themselves. I started long ago. I started on this journey long time ago. I think I was about 13 when I started my search. Okay. But I found a truth. And the truth for me is that I know that there is suffering in this world, right?
Mhm.
4 noble truths. There's 4 of them. We know that there is suffering. Without a doubt, we know there's suffering. We know there's a cause for the suffering.
Mhm.
We know there's an end to the suffering, and we know there's a path that leads to the end. There's things that we can do to make the suffering stop. Those are the 4 noble truths. Those are the truths that I know that are true for me. And if people do it, it's true for them. Everybody, I think pretty much everybody can agree that this world has suffering, that it eventually stops, that there's a cause for the suffering, and that there's a way to stop the suffering. I think that's pretty much straight across board. Everybody can agree with that. It's not a religious thing. It's just a fact of life. But there are also 8 ways, 8 little things that we can do to stop the suffering. There's only 8. There's 8, right? You would think that, oh, this is easy. We do 8 things all the time, right?
Mhm.
So what are those 8 things? I have them here because I want to say them in order. Right understanding. So the right understanding is knowing that we are not that. I'm not this microphone. I'm not this, right? I am this soul inside, this loving kindness, filled with loving kindness, right? Right understanding. I understand that. I understand that there's suffering in the world. I understand that I don't have to be part of it, right? This is the right understanding. Right thoughts. This is what a lot of people kind of get hung up on. And they can't keep their mind from thinking things that create suffering.
Can I
Yes.
ask a question about that?
Yes.
Like, if you say the thought, like as you were saying, I thought about some things that I said to myself just today,
Uh-huh.
not even realizing it. Like, can you just go back and be like, you know what, that's not really a truth,
Yes.
and then it's good?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to. I just want.
Absolutely.
I just want to hear it
That's
again.
what you do.
Because-
That's exactly what you do.
I realized today my husband and I were walking in the house and I was like, oh yeah, I need to walk because my chunky butt needs to move. It's a simple word.
Yes.
And it's very simple, but it's basically being down on myself.
Yes.
Mhm.
That's correct.
And I'm like, oh.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's not always like a big one, like saying,
No.
"Oh, I'm stupid," but
Right.
just like even sometimes I say, "Oh, that's so silly." Even that is actually
A derogatory
it's
thing
negative.
for yourself.
It
You're
doesn't
talking
seem
not
like it, but
Kind about yourself.
yeah.
Yes. And yes, you can change it that instant. You can change it later in the day. You can say, oh, I didn't realize I said that. Now let me say something nice about myself. Let me give myself some love. Yeah, it's as easy as that, really. It's as easy as that. And it will, you're replacing something bad with something good. You're replacing it. You're taking that out. It's like, okay, let me remove that. Let me put this in. Most of the time we forget to do it. But if you do it, this is where you start to give yourself love. This is it. And then the right speech. We just talked about that, right? So you have a thought, but when you actually speak it, got to be careful what you speak. So we have to, think about it. So you think about you're using your mind to be mindful about what's coming out. What are you thinking and what are you putting out? All right. And then right action. So the right action would be like going back and telling yourself something kind, right? These are not hard, right? These are not hard steps, but we've forgotten to do them. So we're just reminding ourselves. right livelihood. What are you doing? And what this means, it doesn't only have to do with work related things. It can be, are you being kind to someone? Are you, stealing from someone? Are you don't want to do you want to make sure you're generating the love that's in your heart outward, the right livelihood, the right effort. Again, this is a hard one for people because they think it should be just easy. In there a shortcut? This is the shortcut. This is the shortcut. Look, I spent my entire life searching. And when I got this, it happened just like that. Because I started doing it over and over and over. Practice, practice, practice. Right? Right effort. So I'm going to say that my effort for myself, and I can only tell you what I do for myself. Now you have to figure out yours for yourself. You have to figure out your practice, what you're going to do in your life to give effort to changing your life, right? So you have to do that. So for me, I know that when I meditate, it helps me. It clears my mind. It settles things down. I know for me, now not everybody can do this. When I chant, it helps me because the chants are saying things. Most people don't understand what they're saying, but they're saying things like free everyone's mind from suffering. Have loving kindness, send love and kindness to everyone. These chants are not just they're not for necessarily yourself. They're giving loving kindness out to the world. So that helps me, and I do it daily. I read something that is good for my mind daily. Like I've read a Pali dictionary, that was good for my mind because it told me what sati means. Sati means mindfulness, right? It helped me. It helped me grow and understand things. So I don't read novels and I don't read things that, don't do anything for my well-being. I read something that will help me be a better person inside. I speak with people. This is what I do on a daily basis to keep myself in balance. I am kind to people. I get up in the morning and I, fix my brother and his wife breakfast. Why? Not because they ask me, because I love them. And I want to show them that I love them. That's the only reason I do it. No other reason. So I do things to show loving kindness every day. This is my practice. This is what I do inside myself. Why? Because it keeps me in balance. I try to do either yoga or walk or something for my body to stay healthy. I eat healthy. Not all the time. Sometimes I eat candy. That's not healthy. But I try to eat healthy, So these are things that I try to take care of myself. That's the effort that I give on a daily basis, every single day of my life, almost all day long. That's what I do. So the next one, right? Mindfulness. Here we go. It's all saying the same thing, really, right? It's bringing us back, right? Mindfulness. And the right concentration. What are you concentrating on? What are you thinking about? Make sure it's something that will bring loving kindness in you. It's not the news. If you concentrate on the news, you're going to suffer, right? Really, you have to take a check on things. That's something I don't do. I don't watch the news. It doesn't do anything for you. And you don't know whether it's true or not. You know, it's just somebody telling you something. So you need to take care of you. I cannot take care of you. I can give you tools. I can give you things that I have done for myself. And I can say, here, try this, try this, try this. But only you can do it. And that's the hard thing. You know, for any teacher, we have to watch. You know, I have to sit and watch. And I can't do it for you. I would love to be able to just snap my fingers and say, okay, you're good. But I can't, because this is your life. This is your journey. This is your enlightenment. And if you want it, it's there for you. It's inside of you. It's not outside of you. Stop looking outside of you. You do these things. You know, I'm telling you, this is the shortcut. You know the Four Noble Truths. You know that there is suffering, that there's something that causes suffering, that there's a way to end the suffering, and you know the way to end the suffering. These 8 things I just told you, right? This works. It worked for me. You asked me how I got it. This is how I got it. I do the practice. I do it every single day. Has nothing to do with any religion. Nothing, no names were mentioned. Nothing was mentioned. It is just a practice of inside yourself, taking care of yourself. Happily. That's what it is. And when you do that, you begin to be able to be kind to others, and others start to be kind to you. This is not to say that you will not have trials. These trials are your learning. See? And we take them as, oh my God, this happened. This is so awful. No, you should be saying, thank you for that teaching. Wow, that was beautiful. I learned so much from that. I mean, this is what I do. Because I get them. You know, it's not like I go through life and nothing ever happens. Oh no, trust me. There are things thrown at me all the time. It's just that I keep mindfulness. I keep sati going all the time in my, okay, what am I thinking? What am I speaking? Right? I make sure that I check myself. And then I know that's outside of me. I have clear and full comprehension of what is going on. And then I'm like, oh, okay, this is a test. It's all right. I say, you know, this world, this universe is the best school you'll ever go to. It teaches you so well if you're paying attention, if you're mindful. Be mindful. You know, and you have to be truthful inside yourself. That's a big one. If you're telling yourself a story, you will never get enlightenment. If you're lying to yourself, you will never get enlightenment. It will not. It will elude you until you tell the truth. And you don't have to, I mean, I'm not talking about speaking your truth to other people. I'm saying speak your truth to yourself. Because until you do that, it's going to elude you. You're going to go around in circles. It's just going to keep going, and you're going to keep, you know, it, because you have to tell yourself the truth. The truth will set you free. We hear these little sayings all the time throughout our life. They're really good, you know. Pay attention. It's telling you something. The truth will set you free. There's been things that I have not wanted to tell the truth about, but when I did, beautiful things happened.
And once you verbalize it, it's no longer that big mountain.
Right.
It's like it granulates into nothingness. I mean, it's and you're like, why did I hold on to that untruth for so long, or why was I so afraid to speak it? Because once it's spoken, it dissipates.
Yes, that's true. But you hold on to it because it's ego. This is why it's so important to let go of the ego, because the ego keeps you holding on to things that are not true, and it creates suffering inside. But the minute you speak it, it's like, whew, you know, no one can hold anything again. You've already spoken. What are they going to say? Yeah, you know, oh yeah, I already spoke that. You're right. You know, so what? Doesn't matter. And what we're thinking in our mind, see, this is part of right thought. What we're thinking in our mind is a lie we're telling ourselves. It's not a truth because we're thinking, oh, they're thinking this. Well, that's not a truth because you have no idea what that person's thinking. None, zero. But you're like, oh, they're thinking that. And then if you actually say, well, you were thinking this, they'll be like, what are you talking about? Right? What are you talking about? I never thought that. I never said that. Why are you, you know? Because we tend to, you know,
Make up stories.
Yes, we make up stories.
I do it. I've done it.
Yeah, everybody's
So
done
we
it.
have these relationships in our head that
All
doesn't
day.
exist
Mhm.
outside of ourselves. You know, I don't need my husband because I'm having a conversation with him in the head, right?
Right, right.
Yeah.
And it was, for me, I was always like in those types of situations, projecting my insecurities and stuff like that onto other people and saying, well, they're going to think this about me. It's like, okay, but that's because you think this about
Yes,
yourself.
that's right.
And then
Yeah.
it's like,
But what we see isn't truth. It isn't what that person sees.
And it's being in that stillness that we begin to see really who we are, because what
Yes.
we see as ourselves is our ego most of the time. It's
Yes.
only in the stillness,
Yes.
the quiet, that we begin to see the true self.
Yes. And the true self is it's beautiful
Mhm.
and it's part of everything.
It's the breath, you know.
Yeah, it's
My breath is your breath, is the cardinal's
Yeah.
breath, is the
Every-
tree's breath,
everything.
is,
yes.
and then the breath is.
Yeah. It's so important. And if you can get this and if you can practice it on a daily basis, you cannot not practice it because then you go back into your own mind.
I read something the other day about the breath, and it was a scientist was talking about it, but he was a Jewish one, and he says we don't say God because we do not say the Lord's name in vain seriously, and we mean it as God. And he says, so we take the vowels out, right, in Yahweh, and he says, and he breathed and he exhaled, and it was, you could visibly hear Yahweh, which was the life source, which is my breath is your life source, is how everyone's,
Yeah.
and it was like one of those light bulbs that went off in me. It's like, that's why it calms us.
Mhm.
The first and the last thing we do in life,
Yeah.
the soul.
calm.
it's, it was like, whoo, you know.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. That's why when you're meditating, we say, take a breath, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Because it is the breath of life. You know, if you don't breathe, you're not going to be here very long. You know, that's just the way it is.
It's eye-opening. Yeah. Never thought of that.
Yeah. So, you know, here's the things, the list of things that you do not to suffer, to be in balance. Rebecca, this is what you do. If you do them, you will not suffer. Try it. You know, that's all I can say. Try it and see. Because I do it daily and I don't suffer. I have, like I said, I have people calling me, people texting me. There's things going on. You know, I lost a deal in real estate. It's not me. I am not going to let that take away my peace. Why? Why would I do that? Another deal will come. 5 days without my phone, right? That's crazy to think about in this world. But, you know, it's okay. It didn't kill me. I had peace. It was quiet, right? You can take things and attach them and create chaos, or you can take them and let it be. Let it be. Right? Just- and this is where you have peace. This is it. This is the balance, This is how you get the balance. So Master Bhumi used to say to me, Sacha, Metta, Kirti, Vidya, Obeka, right? So such is truth. So we just went over it, but they're saying it in a different way, but they say the same thing, right? Truth. Metta, loving kindness, right? Kanti, patience. Vidya, effort. Rebecca, balance. So these things, each thing is the same as the next. Like I said 5 things here, it's the same as these 8 things, right? If you do them, they're just saying it in a different way. They're trying to help us figure it out. And it's simple, but we make it hard. We make it hard. It's not hard. It's not hard. It's just paying attention, right? We got to pay attention. We've got to be in our present moment in mindfulness. We cannot be in our mind in yesterday or tomorrow. That's suffering. Not to say you can't make a plan for your life. Okay, I'm going to retire in 5 years. Okay, good. That's fine. But don't sit in that. Oh, how am I going to do that? And then you get all this going on. No, trust me, it works out.
I know with all the stuff that's been going on with my job and everything, I've noticed I don't get like interviews or even hear back from the jobs that I attach to. It's always the ones where I'm like, okay, we'll see what happens kind of things that always kind of end up going back. So it's like, even though I'm making a plan and like moving forward, I still have to like remain unattached to it because if I attach to it, I suffer because then I'm like disappointed I didn't share something.
And
So.
I tell you, things always work out. They always do. We get in the way and we prolong it and we make it harder for ourselves and but it always works out. We're on a path.
And it goes back to that other truth, impermanence. Nothing is permanent.
No, nothing.
So if anything I attach to is going to end.
Yes. Everything ends in this world. Everything. So, we're all going to leave this world. We're all, nothing stays. Our phones get broken. Our cars get crashed. Or, nothing lasts forever. Our loved ones pass away, we pass away. Nothing lasts forever.
But there's such a joy there too. I mean, if you think about it, if I'm not attached to it, the joy of the actual moment is really beyond anything I could ever plan or want or whatever. If I can just let it go, the joy that is there is so overwhelming.
It's an amazing thing.
It's beautiful.
Here's the thing. If you attach to the joy,
right,
you're going to suffer.
Right. Because I'm expecting the joy.
Yes, because you're like, okay, this is
control
it.
Again.
Now I'm just going to keep this going.
It's like chasing a high you'll never get.
Yeah. It's the balance.
Or then you like don't do something else. You change your way of doing something because you're like, well, this worked last time. This has happened, but it's not. It's like
It's
that one-time thing.
Yes.
It's like that's it.
Yes, and the thing of it is that we think when we see something differently and we get excited, because that's what that is. It's that you're seeing something differently than you did before. And you're like, oh, this must be enlightenment. Woo, I've got it now, right? But what happens is the minute we do that, we've attached to that. We've attached to it. And that's going to create suffering. Just keep in the balance, keep in the breath. It's like this rhythm. The universe is in rhythm, right? Everything is in rhythm. So if we keep in that, we do our practices, we're not way up here and we're not way down here. We're here in this place of peace. You're saying there's a joy in that. Yes, there is a joy in that. But the minute you attach to that joy, and it sounds funny to say this, but it's true. The minute you attach to that joy, you're going to begin to suffer because that joy is up here, right? And you're going to, but if you just stay in this appreciation of what is, not, woo, okay, this is beautiful. Oh yeah, did you, and get excited. I mean, I did it. I can tell you. I did it many times. Oh my God, did you see that? Oh, look at that, It creates this expectation, and that's an attachment. But if you just appreciate, oh, that's nice. That's beautiful. Stay here, because if you go up here, you got to come down here. Just maintain this. Yeah, appreciate. But don't get yourself up here, because if you're up here, what goes up has to come down. It's a balance. And the balance is very important. And it's really easy to maintain. But we have to do our practice. The practice is the maintenance. That's truth. The practice is the maintenance. It keeps things rolling in the place that it needs to be. The minute we're out of practice, things start to get off balance. It's like keeping all your tires at the right air pressure. And then when one gets low, you can feel it kind of blah, 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 blah. That's us. We have to keep the right air pressure in, right? The right breath, the right mindfulness, the right comprehension. Keep the balance going. Don't attach. Just be in the space of loving kindness. Really, this is the key. These steps are the key to unlock enlightenment. It truly is. If you do them. If you don't do them, it doesn't do anything for you. It's like saying, I'm hungry, and there's something to eat right there, but you don't get up and get that food, but you're just, I'm hungry. Where's the food? It's right there. Well, I'm hungry.
Gotta put the effort in to get up and grab it.
You have to get up and get it and eat it. Doesn't do anything. Even if you set it in front of you, but you don't eat it, it doesn't do anything. You have to eat it for it to nourish your body. Same thing with this. You have to do it in order to have the peace inside. And it's a constant, Somebody asked me how often I meditate or how often I do my practice. I'm like, a lot, like all the time. I don't like write down when I do my practice. I do it all the time. Like I'm in practice all the time. I'm paying attention to what I'm saying, paying attention to, I'm having full and clear comprehension of what's going on around me, what's going on inside of me. I'm paying attention. And when we do that, it's a continuous thing. You don't stop doing that. You continue to do it so that you can stay in balance. The minute you stop doing it, you're getting out of balance, And there's other things that we go over, like being kind to others. Called Hiri Otapa, right? Being kind to yourself, being kind to others, not doing mean things to people because you don't want to hurt them. You don't want the effects of what's going on, that like you're sending something out. What goes out comes back.
So that has been my frustration today in some ways. That's been my frustration a lot today. My brother, the doctor was calling him and he wasn't asking any of the questions, and the doctor was foreign and my brother couldn't understand what he was saying. And so without asking, I was like, why doesn't he just ask? Why are you? And in my mind, I'm going, why are you being so ignorant that you're not asking? But what I'm doing is I'm projecting out the
Yes.
same thing that if I was saying that ignorance to me,
Yes.
I'm doing it to him.
Yes.
And
Yes.
in that, I'm just causing chaos.
Yes.
Complete
Yes.
chaos.
Yes.
And I mean, and knowing that and then having to go back and first
Yes.
of all, here's the ego.
Uh-huh.
There's the ego because it says that I could do it better.
Right.
Mhm.
And it's not yours.
It's not mine. Let it go. It is what it is. The knowledge will come if needed, kind of thing. Let it be.
And if you want to help him, just say, hey, ask your doctor.
But and the thing, it was for my mom. My mom's doctor's calling. I'm like, so you can have the doctor call me, right? And I even showed him how to do the merge the call so we can all talk together. Well, the doctor still wanted to talk to him. That really has nothing to do with
No,
me.
it didn't have anything to do with you.
It's all him.
Right.
I've learned recently to not involve myself in other people's lessons, even though it's something I might have learned, or like I'm like, oh, I'm also dealing with that, because that kind of takes away their
Right.
learning opportunity,
Yes.
and then my ego gets involved, and then I'm just enabling,
Yes. That's true.
and it's like, oh, well, it is a lesson for me, but not the one I thought it was. But so here I am learning.
Yeah.
But then also offering, like, if somebody's going through something, like, if you want help, I'm more than willing to help you, but that's as far as I go, kind of thing. And like, you have to, if you want help, then it's their responsibility to reach out.
Yes.
I can't force it
Yes.
upon them.
And you said something to me that really clicked with me too, is that if I'm not sending out love, I'm sending out negative energy.
Mhm. It's true.
So if I'm not sending out love to you, anything else is negative out there.
And if we try to teach when we're not there,
It's not good.
it wreaks havoc in not only your life, but the person's life as
Right.
well. Because you're you're not in balance, and you're trying to tell somebody else how to get in balance when you're not there, and it really creates this chaos and suffering. It's a big thing. And that's why I say don't teach until you're there. Because it can create, and it's not to say you can't share with people, but most of the time when we're sharing something that's not good. Like we're suffering, or oh yeah, I had, and then you're like, oh yeah, me too. And then it goes into this, and what is that? What is that? You don't want to do that. You want to stay in your space. So you have to do you first. And if you have, you're just coming off a high of being, not literal high, but high
Right.
of going through some beautiful things, and then you're crashing and burning, and then you're going back up into the high and you're crashing and burning, you're not in balance. You are not in balance, and don't bring somebody else with you on that ride. They're probably going through enough. You don't need to, bring them with you on your little chaotic ride too. So if you can maintain your balance, like do you, this is the point. Do you. And when you do you, things start to become clear. Your sati and sapanya will automatically kick in. You'll have mindfulness and clear comprehension if you're doing you. Don't involve yourself in other people's stuff. What is that? For what purpose? Oh, I'm trying to help them.
Hmm.
You know, that's ego. That's ego. You don't need to help them. They're on their journey. I'm not saying that we can't help people. Give somebody a sandwich. Perfect. You know, give them some clothes. But if you're trying to help them on a journey you haven't completed yet, that's not a good thing, because it's going to harm both of you. And I can tell you that from experience. 100%. And once you get there, it automatically comes automatic. You'll know, because you won't be in suffering every other week, right? You'll know. You won't be in suffering. You'll be able, something will come and you'll go, oh, I know what that is. You will not suffer over it. It will be just like, okay, you know, this is a good teaching. I like that one. You know, I had it this morning. I had a good teaching this morning. I was like, oh, I see you. It's okay. You know, this is how it works. We have to let ourselves be inside ourselves. Don't go out looking for stuff. There's enough stuff inside of you. You know, really, there is. You know, we haven't completed doing us. And we go out and try to, you know, and usually when we're doing that, it's because we don't want to face what's going on inside of us.
Mm.
So take care of you first. Happily. Don't do it because you think it's something you got to do. Then you're not really doing it. You know, like if you're meditating going, oh, I got to meditate. All right, let me try to do 5 minutes. I'm just going to, you know, if you're doing that, you're not really meditating.
Waste of time.
It is. It's a waste of time. But if you do it, oh, let me get some peace going on inside myself. Let me take a couple of deep breaths and quiet everything, because the world outside me is a little crazy, but I got peace inside myself. And you calm everything and you bring it into this space of loving kindness. That's where it happens. But if you're making yourself in torture meditate, you're not meditating. If you're going through these steps just to make a check mark, you're not going through those steps. You have to give it an effort. We put effort into all kinds of things outside of us. All kinds of things outside of us. We put a lot of effort into all kinds of things that don't do anything for us. But if you put that effort into yourself, into these little steps, right thought, right view, right action, right speech, what is wrong with that? Nothing. And if you have all that, you're doing that inside yourself, it's generating outside of you. And you're actually helping people by helping yourself. But if you're not doing it yourself and you're trying to help somebody, nobody's winning in that little deal right there. I can tell you for sure. So all the time, pay attention. Be mindful of what your mind is going on in there, right? Be mindful, because it's going to chitter chatter. You can direct it. You're the driver. You are the driver. You're it. Nobody else is inside of you. You're the only one. It's truth. So you can bring it in and balance it out, and, you know, don't give your power to something that's outside of you. It just doesn't work. Doesn't work at all. So, shall we do a little meditation? Bring it in. Bring some loving kindness inside ourselves. All right. So, I'm going to call in the angels tonight. So I'm going to, you guys know the Namo Tassa. You can say it with me if you want to. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Sa ke game jarupe karisi karatate jantari ke uimane. Ti perate chakame tarumanaka ame ke hawatum hikete. Puma jayantu tiwa shalatala wisaninyaka kantapananta tikanta shanti keyang muniwana wachatang sata ume sunantu. Nama sonagalo ayang pantanta. Dhamma sonagalo ayang pantanta. Dhamma soanagalo ayang pantantana. We'll bring in love and kindness. Metta ceto imutiya, karuna ceto imutiya, mudita ceto imutiya. Ubeka ceto imutiya. Take a couple of deep breaths in, feeling the breath come in and flow down through your entire body, letting it go. Breathing in and out. How is everyone? Good? All right. Well, we have another meditation class done. Hopefully next week everybody will come in enlightened, right? All right. Next week, we'll see you same time, same place. May you have all blessings and peace inside, loving kindness.